What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Zebec today. ZBCN. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you hit that like button. Don't you? Come on, hit that. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Let's get into it. Okay, it is the 13th day of October. Here we are at about 0.004. I know, wild, right? We haven't seen this in a while though. We've been here. I swear, every day that I make my videos at like this time of day, we are right at this price every single day. It's been every day that I've talked for the last 3 days in a row. It's been right at 0.004. We just can't get away from this price here. We're going to get away from it soon enough. A little bit of volatility yesterday, a lot of volatility over the past few days, and that's okay. I think, with the stock market opening up green, we look at the S&P 500 here. Look at the daily time frame, and we opened up green. Even if we come down a little bit and it's red colored, it's still green because we're up from Friday's close. So stock market opening up positively, I think, had a beneficial impact on the markets. We are down. With that being said, we are down like 7% today. However, I wouldn't be surprised if at any given moment now we are about to see some voluptuous upside come to fruition here. What's happening right now, I think, is that we've had this triangle pattern, right? And I think we've actually broken out of it. And right now we're just meandering. We're just waiting, right? Waiting for the breakout. It makes me think of various charts. Let's actually look at Bitcoin and see if we've ever seen this happen before. Hold on. Let's look at this on a weekly time frame and zoom out. Where you've seen this kind of, you broke out but you didn't do anything, right? Let's just see. Where might a good example of this be? I think there's going to be one. Yeah, right here, right? This is a good example, right here, perfect. COVID times, right? Lower low, lower highs, right? This whole range. You broke out right here, and you just kind of moved sideways. But eventually, you saw your breakout move, and eventually the further aspirations from that, the further productiveness for that maybe is a better word, came to fruition. Right here, you broke out of this, I would say. You broke out of this little like broadening wedge pattern down here. You broke out of this and you were kind of neutral sideways, but then inevitably you went up. I think we're just in this boring phase right now, probably because of the uncertainty that's circulating around the markets, right? A lot of people are worried that we might see the same effects that happened from February to April of this year already. Because of the tariff scares. I think as this week develops, as time goes on, we're going to see that the tariffs are nothing to be worried about, that these new tariffs on China are nothing to be worried about. They are going to go into effect on November 1st, but I think that everything's going to be fine with that. And I've thought that, since the day we heard that news, I think that I'm not enough, though. I think once the majority of people start to think that way as well, this uncertainty will start to shift to certainty in the bullish effect. I do believe that we're going to move up higher. I don't believe that we're going to move lower. If we do move lower from here, that's okay. Could we even see a lower low than we saw yesterday? Sure, it could happen. But I doubt that we go lower than this low. I doubt that we see anything too crazy happen, right? And I want to look at the short-term stuff before we get any more into this like longer-term thought here. I want to get into the short-term stuff and see what we're doing right now. So let's look at the 1 hour time frame and then we'll zoom out from there. 1 hour time frame here. Very volatile, actually. Wow, interesting looking price action there. The RSI looks productive, actually. It looks productive. I would think that we're in more of an area to find support than we are to reject down. The stochastics look bearish, and the MACD is also right at a point to bounce. So right at a point to bounce here, right at a point where I think we'd continue moving up here. To be fair, you're even at a point to bounce on the stochastics. The 1 hour might not be the most helpful, but if I'm being fair, I'm bullish here. Maybe we move down a little bit, maybe move down to 0.039, but I doubt we go below these lows. So I don't think that we go below yesterday's lows, no. 4 hour time frame here, looking at this. Definitely some wackadoo consolidation. Let's look at this on Bybit. Here we go, with some volume on it. Yeah, the volume's dying off. So typically when you're in consolidation phases, right, like this, like you're in a little consolidation phase here, that lack in volume, once the volume dies off, that's when you choose a side and you break out. And if you break out to the downside, I would assume it's not because Zebec is broken, not because you're the standalone coin dropping, but probably because the rest of the market's dropping as well. So you're probably just going to go with the flow. I'm not anticipating that personally, but let's look at these indicators here. Maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe it actually would be proper. You see, the 1 hour time frame is a little bit uncertain. It's a bit weird, right? Where the 4 hour time frame, looking at this RSI, it actually does make me bearish. I'm not going to lie. Why? Because of the lower lows and the lower highs, right? We're at a point to go lower, and we probably go to the oversold zone, which would absolutely mean we go below these lows here. That's fine if we do. We can go below those lows. It's really not a problem. It's just not what I was originally expecting, but that's okay. Let's shift our gears a little bit. Low to high here. What would that then promote? 0034, 0032. I suppose we could see that, yeah. And if we don't, if by some chance, instead of doing what we would normally do here, come on, which is coming down, sticking true to this range and coming down and forming a lower low, maybe forming some bullish divergence later and then recovering. If instead of doing that, what we do is we like bounce here and we come up and break, that's fine too. But in which case we'd still probably move down a little bit. We might see prices down at like 0038, something like that. So don't be sad if we do move below like 0039. I think it's fine. The lowest I'd give us is probably like 0032, was it? Let me see. Low to high. 0032. Maybe 0031. And that's fine. Okay, that's totally fine if we do that. The MACD is actually kind of encouraging here, but not encouraging enough. The stochastics are discouraging. I would think we do go lower based off this 4-hour look. I hope I'm wrong, and I could be wrong. And again, the price action is really weird, but Bitcoin's coming down here. Oops. Bitcoin's coming down a little bit right now. You know, it was moving up. We were just at like 115K. Look at this 1-hour time frame. Right, you're coming down right now. It might really rely on Bitcoin, and then the S&P was up, but now it's coming down. So I think we're flowing with the rest of the markets. That's probably what's happening. On that note, what's the S&P doing? Let's look at the 1-hour. Let's just see. You might come down and fill some of that gap. Yeah, the S&P looks like it does want to come down a little bit. You'll probably get bullish divergence, in which case would we drop all the way back down below this low? That'd be wild. That'd be pretty wild if the S&P came back down below here and then pumped. But even if we do, I would expect that the S&P pumps. All right. S&P going below its lows is not the same thing as Bitcoin going below its lows, and I don't think it does. And I certainly don't think that ZBCN does either. But maybe over the coming days we do see a little downward volatility shift, and that's fine. Daily time frame here. Overall net positive on the stochastics, I think. You're having a hell of a time moving down, which is good, right? You don't want to move down with these. When you move down with these, the price moves down with these. The MACD is bullish as well overall. Fresh cross to the red side, but overall bullish. And the RSI, while pointed downwards as well, is overall bullish too. You're actually at a point here with these like higher lows where I would kind of expect you to bounce. Higher lows. You do have higher highs, relatively speaking, right here. Maybe you come down a little bit lower, you bounce off the 40 or something in this area. But between now and like the next few days, I would think that you do find some support and then move up higher. When you do move higher, ZBCN, let's talk about the exciting stuff instead of scratching our heads so much. I want to just say, with that kind of conclusion of thought, I'm not convinced because we are in weird times right now. I need to look you guys in the eye so that you understand that this is serious, okay? I'm not convinced that this is a guarantee that we're going to move down to 0039 or 0032 or anything like that. It's something we should be aware of, though. Okay, it could happen, and we are seeing signals of that. That makes sense for it to happen. Doesn't mean that it will happen. So if you're waiting to buy ZBCN and you're thinking that that's your chance, hopefully it is. But it might not be. We're at a discount across the board right now, right? It's not a time to kind of play these guessing games. If you're allocated in the markets, if you're waiting for the price to come down but it goes up and you're still making money, cool, fine. But if you're not allocated in the markets at all, maybe get some allocation in there, right? Don't get your feelings hurt if we do go down there, but don't get your feelings hurt if we don't. We're in some weird kind of areas right now, and the price could pump at any minute. We really, good things are coming. Good things are coming, and it's important to be allocated, you guys. If tomorrow we're pumping, we're up 30%, I don't care that I'm wrong, right? Because ultimately, regardless of the short-term stuff, regardless of what's happening today, tomorrow, the next day, we've been calling for months now that ZBCN is going to go to a 2-cent to 4.5-cent price. And over the past few weeks, over the past month itself, really, we've extensuated, or is it accentuated or accentuated? Which one? I think it's accentuated. We've extended the price zone from just 4.5 cents to potentially 6 to 7.7 cents. Yes, by the end of this movement. And the reason why is I just expect this move to be phenomenally larger than whatever this move was here. If we take this from a low to a high, I do think that this next move is going to be larger. And I don't want to take it from this low, right? This was your move here. I think that this was a scam wick. We're going to break out here pretty soon. I think we've already broken out, so we're kind of at that breakout point now. That would take us to 4.5 cents. So basically, if we went to 4.5 cents, we're seeing the same sized move as we saw here. You know, maybe if we put it to the current price, it's a little bit lower. I would think that this next move is going to be bigger. I think that what we're seeing is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-legged move probably, and the third leg is typically bigger, in which case the next target area would be about 6 cents to 7.7 cents. So something in that zone makes a lot of sense to me. Really, we accept 2 cents as a possibility, but I think 3 cents to 7.7 cents is really the new zone that we've started to refine over the past few weeks. So this is where we think it's going. So again, if I'm wrong and we don't do this, but then we go all the way up here, I can't wait to see all the trolls tell me how wrong I was. You know what I mean? And then we continue to rally, because who cares? Who cares about the little bit, right? We're still expecting, and this is why, again, if you have no skin in the game, you should get some skin in the game, because at any moment now, ZBCN and the rest of crypto is going to rally at any moment now. So I start talking positive, and look what happens. The market comes back up. Things start coming back up. I was talking negative, and it was going down. It's all me, man. It's all our perception. That's all it is. Just manifest it, man. Manifest. $10 ZBCN. Can you get to $10 this cycle? No, probably not. No, you'll probably get to a you probably won't even get to $1 this cycle. But I do think you have a lot of high prospects ahead of you. We definitely could see a 45-cent price, 50-cent price, something like that by the end of the cycle or more. Wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if we get above $1, but something, you know, maybe just under $1, but above 50 cents I could see. This is the next target zone, and when are we expected to hit this 3 cent to 7.7 cent target area? We're expected to hit that sometime either by the end of October, which is crazy, right? That's wild. Probably not by the end of October, but I would think probably sometime in November, right? Certainly by the end of the year, I would expect that we're at 6 to 7 cents, okay, by the end of the year. By the end of November, maybe we're at 4.4 to 3 cents, okay? But by the end of the year, we're here, if not higher, and more likely higher. Anyways, I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I enjoyed making it. Let's actually look at ZBCN here and just see. When I got liquidated for 100 million, did I ever blame Hyperliquid? No. Yeah, people just look to blame things, man. But the thing is, James, to be fair, whenever you got liquidated, it wasn't during what happened on the 10th, right? That was, and Binance even paid out like $280 million in customer fees, or like they paid back that amount of money to some of their clients because of the depegging of coins, right? Like there's some weird stuff that happened there, man. And I don't think it was Binance that was solely responsible. I think it was a coordinated effort from the crypto elite, genuinely, I think it was. So it might not be Binance or CZ that's directly responsible, but there was something coordinated there, man. Something fishy. It's obvious. We're really proud to be working with ZBCN. This is on the 10th, so nothing new here. Good to have you, Crypto Von Doom. Anyways, nothing else, you guys. I'm just talking at this point, so I'll end the video. Hit the like button, subscribe, share this video with your friends. Take care. Bye-bye.